Morning. Congratulations on the AFC East Division Championship. Good afternoon, I should say. Sorry about that.
All the same right now.
I know, right? Been late. Hey, I want to ask you about start of the game. You went first six plays all out of shotgun, a three and out, and then it was a potential three and out. There was a penalty. From there, I did the math. 50 plays, only 12 were under shotgun, and you guys really made most of your gains. Not going. You were under center. What was the philosophy of change after those first six plays to go back under center?
Yeah, I think, it's interesting when you look at our first drive of the game, you always try to track the weather, right? But
Yeah.
as we know in Buffalo, it's, you can go after pregame, you can come back and it can be a perfect night. Or you can come back after pregame, it can be, field can be covered in snow. And, we felt, obviously you got to do a better job on the first two plays, and then we get the penalty. But when you look at the difference in the first drive and the second drive, just how the field, the landscape was. And then just doing a great job trying to just communicate with the wideouts and the tight ends, on the offense, making sure, hey, what does the footing look like? What's it look like looking up, little things of, hey, it's snowing in the lights at dark. How does it feel tracking it? All that stuff of, so a lot of things kind of went at play, and you can plan for these things. We knew it was going
Yeah.
to be a weather condition game, but until you're out there, every snow game's a little bit different. And so it was more of just a change in philosophy in terms of just kind of, hey, the footing, the understanding of, hey, the type of runs and the type of cuts we're going to have to be able to make now that, the snow kind of piled down.
So just to kind of, if I can like dumb it down a little bit, it would be just safe to say going straight ahead and instead of having to kind of go left and right and take a handoff like that and have to pick your way might be a little bit easier in those conditions.
Yeah, and I think, look, when part of what Brandon and Sean do a great job of, you're putting together a team, but we got to be able to win football games in this weather, right?
Right.
And there's a lot of different things that come with that, a style of play, but also the type of players that you have. And you got to be able to have players that can be ground and be able to make the cuts in the snow and understand how to do that, and that's tough,
Yeah.
and getting a feel of kind of some of the guys and how that was kind of going allowed me to, hey, feel comfortable calling certain plays or sticking with certain plays, kind of how it was going. So loved how the guys kind of responded and made the adjustments needed.
Well, if I can editorialize for a second, that was a great adjustment. Just wanted to say that. So good job on that. But I also want to ask you about Dawson Knox stepping in for Dalton. It seems like when the weather gets colder, Dawson gets warmer, heats up a little bit, and he just comes through a lot of times in these late games. He has a touchdown streak going in the playoffs. But what is it about Dawson that you can rely on to know that in those situations, he's going to be a guy you can count on?
Yeah, that's who he is. It might be when it's colder in the playoffs, but regardless of production, the faith, the belief, the accountability that we know exactly he's going to do his job,
Yeah.
and he's a stud, and all he cares about is winning football, and we win because of Dawson Knox's, and his personality is contagious in terms of the football team and the way that he plays. He'll get in there if he has to block 60 straight plays. He'll do that if it's going to mean that we're going to win football games. And, and when he's having the opportunities in the past game, it was such a huge play backed up yesterday, and incredible throw by Josh moving in the pocket and finding him on the seam and him making the play with it after, and big job, big completion in the snow on the end cut. And so, he just goes out there and makes plays, and that's kind of who he is. And we have all the trust in him. And because he doesn't care about the stats, allows him and our offense to have success.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Congratulations again.
Thanks, likewise.
Hey, Coach, building off of Sal's question there, just with the offensive line, the last two games against Chiefs and Niners, they've been able to control both pass protection wise and then set the edge in the run game. Just how important has that been of the offensive line being able to set a tone early in the game and then keep all the way through with maintaining that edge?
Yeah, it's you build your football team. We have Josh Allen, don't get me wrong, and we're always going to go as he goes. But your offensive line, if you can control the line of scrimmage and not just control it, if you can play on their side of the line of scrimmage, if you can protect him and keep your quarterback clean, you're going to have a chance to have success. And it's very important to our guys. You watch all the little things of how they are when picking up ball carriers, or when Josh does get touched, of running and picking him up. Like, everything is important to those guys, and they play do a great job, together as the five, or when Alex in the game is the six. And I love that group. I love how they're playing, and we just got to continue to find ways to continue to get better.
And then as the season has progressed, third down efficiency has gotten better, as the season's gone on. It was 50% yesterday, over 50% the last 3 games. Just what have you noticed from that scenario in particular where you guys have been able to find an advantage?
Yeah. I'm never a fan of I love the victory formation, except when victories happen on third downs. But no, I think a lot of it is just, as the season gets on, you kind of getting a feel of how defenses are playing you, and Josh having a great understanding of kind of who our guys are and getting them in certain spots. And he's doing a great job with his legs and when the plays aren't there, and extending it, right? Every play is not going to be perfect on third down, and our guys just, at the end of the day, sometimes just going to make plays. And, we early in the game, we weren't living in manageable third downs. And as the game went on, we were living in more where we have opportunity to either go for it on fourth down, or we were manageable, make life a little easier on us. And so as much as we can stay ahead of the chains, the better for us. But it's important for our guys to sustain drives. And, in a game like that, if you can control the line of scrimmage and stay and convert on third downs, you're going to be tough to beat.
Thanks, Joe.
Appreciate you.
Hey, Joe, John Worrell, AP.
Hey,
Let's have some fun. We all know the myriad things that Josh Allen can do. What can't he do?
You'd probably have a better answer than I would, because I feel like every time you think he might not be able to complete a pass to himself, he finds a way, right? And so, he's we get to appreciate, one of the greatest players, right? And sometimes, we take that for granted. And even myself, I get to just be around him and be able to coach him. But the things that he does on a football field, people can't do. And, we live in an era where, him and Mahomes and Lamar, everyone wants to critique and compare and all that. And man, it's such a, the game of football is in such a good place with such great quarterbacks. And it's a lot of fun watching these guys play. And I'm just grateful to be able to be around and be around Josh on a day-to-day basis and see him just continue to make plays. And it's just a lot of fun. Sometimes as a coach, I see it as, you come away as a fan, like, wow. And, it's a lot of fun.
I appreciate the answer. I was trying to stump you there, but lastly, just what is the key to this offense in being able to score this many points when we enter the season with this everybody eats approach, but this team is scoring 30 plus points per game for the last 6 weeks. What is the key to that success?
The key is the love that they have for one another and the character in the room. It's something that we've been making sure everybody was intentional about the relationships and making it important, going back to OTAs. And I know everybody wants to make it about talent and scheme, but when you watch us play, it's important to each other. And we're playing for each other, not just with each other. And that starts way back then. And when we talk about the everything eats, and you see when guys score touchdowns, everybody's celebrating there. Like, that's important. And like I just talked about, when guys are getting tackled, are we helping them up? Or if we're getting tackled on their sideline, are we running to, help our quarterback or whoever gets hit? And that's what I think is leading to success and leading to points. Everything else takes care of itself.
That's a fascinating point. And I need to follow up on that, Joe. When you say intentional, I mean, this is a game this is a sport, and like all sports are filled with egos. How do you get that out of a group of guys to be intentionally selfless?
Well, I think, this is the greatest athletes in the world, right? Like, you have to have a level of selfishness. Like, I want guys to want to be competitive and want the football. And that's what's going to make us go. But when you set a standard for when you care enough about relationships, and you start that in off season and have conversations with guys, and guys hanging with one another and seeing how much, the success that we can have, guys begin to believe and understand that, hey, if I do my job, it'll open it up for this guy. But knowing that, hey, in that next opportunity, now it comes to me, he's going to help it. He's going to help me. And it all comes together. And look, we have egos, right? We're coaching football, football players are the best of the best, and they want to have success, and they want to bring stuff to the table. And I want that. I want guys every week coming saying, I can do more. And we have those conversations. But when we cross the lines, we're going to do everything we can to have success. And and play for each other, not just with each other. And I think that is something that has helped us find ways to get the ball into the end zone.
Thanks, Joe.
Appreciate you.
Hey, Joe, you said something there that kind of is a good lead into what I want to ask you about. The fact that all of you guys have egos. I mean, to get to the top of the NFL, to be in the NFL, I mean, I feel like you have to have a level of ego, wanting to be better. You posted on social media yesterday the clip that the Bills put together and the receipts emoji. I didn't want to ask you so much about the post, more so the idea behind the doubt that faced this team and this offense and Josh Allen in the offseason, and how much you compartmentalize that as you're going through the season, knowing that you have a bunch of really competitive guys that maybe want to prove the doubters wrong.
Yeah, it's not necessarily trying to prove the doubters wrong. It's just proving us right? Like, I'm not naive. I was sitting there in the off season and training camp and answering questions, and can hear the concerns that people might have for our receiver room or the offense or this and that. But we trusted our vision, and look, guys, don't get me wrong. We have to find ways to get better. We have not arrived. We are not where we want to be. We have bigger sights ahead, but we had clear visions for what we were looking for, and I thought that was that's what's important. And I got the buy-in, the character, the philosophy, all kind of had to come together, and for us to be able to find ways to have success. And yes, you have to sacrifice some ego, but to get to where you ultimately want to go, you're going to have to do that. And, we believed and we knew we were going to be successful offense, because of the work that we put into the offense. And it's not proving doubters wrong. It's just us being able to go out there and show that this is who we believe and who we knew we could be. And we have to continue to do that and continue to progress and find ways to get to where you ultimately want to be.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, Joe, it's Mark Gahn from the Buffalo News. When you bring in bigger personnel, whether it's particularly Alec Anderson on the field, or 13 personnel, you're going to face more stacked boxes. And most weeks you've still been able to run. You didn't really against Kansas City, but most every game, including this one, you've still been able to run. Just kind of what gives you the confidence to not be deterred by seeing stacked boxes?
Well, I think it's a combination of who we have, having the confidence in our guys, and some of it had to do with the weather conditions, last night. But just because it's a stacked box doesn't mean it's an advantage for the defense. And there's different types of alignments and gap integrity, and opportunities to be able to create a change a gap, and try to get the defense to maybe hot their feet, and us to be able to get on and get to the second level. And oftentimes, when you stack a defense, you also have an opportunity. If you do like what happened with Jimbo, is once you get through that first layer, there's an opportunity to hit the big play. And so sometimes there's you can go into a week and hope to get more stacked boxes. And sometimes you can go into a week and be like, hey, it's going to be a better advantage for us to get more split safety. And, to me, a lot of it has to do with just kind of what the boxes kind of look like, the gaps, and, the techniques that the guys are kind of playing.
And then lastly, maybe you just talk about what you liked on James' 65-yard touchdown run, and specifically what Mack Hollins gives you, his blocking. He had a nice block on that play, and just his approach to run blocking.
Yeah, my favorite thing was not having to call another play. I like that. He helped me in Miami do that as well. No, but it's there's nothing sexy about the play, right? You're running a duo concept, and you're just getting double teams, and trusting that your guys are going to be able to get a hat on a hat and be able to move a guy and get in double teams, and and James be able to find the open crease and make a guy miss like he did. And Mack Hollins, I can speak all day. You guys have known how I felt about Mack Hollins going back into training camp and off season, and such an incredible signing for us, a big signing for him. Everything that he brings on the football field, off the football field, and going in there and doing all the dirty work. And he gets rewarded and gets a touchdown, right? And that's part of the everyone eats kind of mindset. But him in there, Alec made a great job. Mack going in, cleaning it up, and then Jimbo doing the rest. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Thank you.
Hey, Joe, just thank you for taking the time to chat with us. Appreciate it. I just wanted to ask you just real quick about Ray. You've seen it throughout the season, what he does to help balance your offense and how effective he is. And just for him being a rookie through 13 weeks here, 12 games, whatever it may be, is just what do you think has led to his ability to be so effective? And what has stood out to you about the way he's kind of carried himself to, especially in a game like yesterday where you need to have an emphasis on the ground attack for him to play his role and be effective in that?
Yeah, I think, you go back to, Ray's, coming out of the draft and, the success he had at so many different schools and everything, everyone kind of knows about his background and kind of how he's built. It's been incredible to see a quote unquote a rookie, but he's extremely mature. But to be able to understand, the highs and lows that a season might come. In some games, I might not get a lot of carries, but be able to stay focused and stay locked in and know when his opportunities are going to come that he's going to make the most of it in a game like that. You felt him running behind his pads, did a great job, protecting the ball and was a lot of fun to watch. You look in the last couple of games, he hasn't got the touches, that, naturally all the running backs would want. That didn't shy him away from anything. And sometimes rookies can kind of start doubting or anything like that. And, I'm extremely proud of the way that he's kind of handled it. Love what he brings to our football team, right? And there's a reason that he was brought here, and what he brings to the running back room. And you got him and Himbo and him and Jimbo and Ty putting those guys together. Man, we have all the confidence in the world. And when you see when these games are going to be played in the snow, and that's why you get those running backs that we have, and hope that you can be able to wear on teams with the offensive line, and it was fun watching them play behind their pads. And, it's December football. It's January and February, and that's what we're looking to play. And guys like Ray Davis are going to help us get there.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Hey, Joe. I hope you're doing well. Kind of piggybacking on a little bit of what Mark talked about. You guys had a lot of success with duo last night. At what point did you guys kind of realize that maybe some of the tackle trap stuff, pull stuff, wasn't really going to be advantageous with the weather?
I think once you saw after the first drive, some of the just with some of the footing and how it just was continuing to come down and it was kind of packing down on the field. You got to kind of sit back and there was other schemes that we thought, hey, maybe we can take a chance with and kind of work with, but I'm big on if it's working, let's make them stop it before we get away from it. And and so it felt like the duo scheme yesterday was something that the guys were felt comfortable in. It's kind of we've been doing. They've had success throughout the season, kind of doing it, and in conditions like that where you might be getting different type of defensive looks, knowing that the defense with the conditions, kind of give them what they know and allow them to kind of figure it out. And they did a good job adjusting.
What is the pull like for you? When you have a play like that's working, you touched on there. Because obviously the feed them till they choke mentality makes common sense, but doesn't always happen, in football.
Yeah, I think look, there's it's not broke, don't fix it, right? But there's sometimes where, hey, they after the game, sometimes you're always like, man, I should have came back to that. And sometimes you come back to it and it doesn't work, and that doesn't mean that it was a wrong to go back to it. You might be setting up the play pass that might come with it, and there's so many different layers to it. Sometimes a play just doesn't work because we didn't execute it, but it might have got the look that we want. Sometimes a play works, but we didn't block it correctly. We just made a guy miss, and it we can get caught up in this. Sometimes the results. But last night the guys did a good job of just continuing to feel confident in the play and finding ways, and even on sometimes where we didn't get the necessary yardage, knowing that, hey, continue getting to it and good things will kind of happen. And just proud of how they didn't blink.
How necessary is it to have some games like yesterday where you might be getting to situations where the defense knows what's coming and they can't stop you?
Look, I think every game in the seasons are all experiences that I think you're going to be able to hang your hat on, right? And you look forward to them, and you get to not necessarily check the box, but playing games in the snow and night games in the snow with it snowing down. There's so many different layers to our growth as an offense, and being able to see what we can and cannot do as the season goes on. And we might play another snow game, and it might just be snow on the ground and not snowing. It can change things. It might be a day game. There's so many different layers, but there's something too when we just line up and they know what we're running, and you're able to find ways to have success. There's a lot of power to that. And I was proud of the way that the guys kind of just continued to hey, let's just keep going to it. And they find ways to make it work. It's that ownership we always talk about.
Has Dion lobbied for more tackle traps next week since he didn't get them all in yesterday?
Look, Dion just cares about winning and having a lot of fun. And I'm sure if Dion could wear ski goggles in a game and do what he has to do, life will be good. But Dion, all Dion cares about is winning and having fun and protecting our quarterback. And he did a good job at that last night. All pro snow.
All right. Thank you.